Hey, it's a terrific Tuesday. It's Rumor and Innuendo. Boom. I'm Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, and OneTrueSportTV.com. But per usual, I am here with Mr. Robert Karpelis, WE Creative _ish. Robert, are you having indeed a terrific Tuesday?
It is a terrific. I didn't know what day of the week it was. It is a terrific Tuesday. You know why I didn't know what day of the week it was? It doesn't say in the name of this episode what today's date is. It's
Oh,
usually what I rely on. I don't know. There was a Raw last night. I watched Raw last night. It was taped a week prior. Either that or everybody wore the same clothes and went to the same building for a second week in a row. Wild, weird stuff. We'll say hi to some of the folks who are joining us live here. We got E, who says, "Was up?" So clearly that message coming from the late 90s. Joseph Wade Walters. Good morning, rumor heads. Wishing it was Cody and Rock instead of Reed and Rollins to fill out the fifth spot. Should have been 4-on-4, but at least it's not the bloodline randomly feuding with the Brawling Brutes, only for it to have been ignored since. I have thoughts on that, Mr. Joseph Wade Walters. We'll get to it right now. Why not? Before I even say hi to the rest of the folks. Number one, you don't want it to be Cody because you need Cody to be separate from everything going on with the bloodline at the moment. He needs to be able to stand on his own 2 feet and have a big boy grown up feud. If he's constantly just the fifth wheel in a bloodline storyline, he's going to feel even less important than he already does now. Second piece, I don't want Rock returning at War Games. That needs to be saved for Netflix, WrestleMania build. That is where he's best situated. Willie Thornbrew says Chad Gable got beat up by a girl. Rey Mysterio is not a girl. Alt Jake says good morning, rumorites and innuendoms. You did there.
Robertites and innuendoms. Huh?
No.
Yes.
Johnny Disco says, hello, Arna. I guess Damage Control was officially a face faction now. Women's War Games seems rather random. So Damage Control have been baby faces kind of by default for the last several weeks now. Or we could do the Vince McMahon thing of the idea of good guys and bad guys is passe. It's shades of gray, Johnny Disco. Disco is dead, just like kayfabe.
That's some classy stuff, Robert. Hey, yes, but Raw was pre-taped. I will have to say I really enjoyed this episode of Raw, though. Either way, I thought they did a good job in delivering some cool story elements, great matches. But let's get to it, Robert. Kicked off with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez coming on out. And I got to say, I like how Raquel Rodriguez is she's basically the enforcer. Not Arn Anderson, but the heater for Liv. You look at it in contrast to what AEW's been doing with Mercedes Moné and Camille. They're already showing tension. It's really early. This is what you should really be doing with somebody like a heater like Raquel Rodriguez. But we get more coming out here when it comes to the tag, what the Survivor Series kind of getting mixed in a little bit with Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and the whole crew of Nia Jax with her crew too, Tiffany Stratton and Candice LeRae. I almost forgot her name. But Robert, what'd you think of that?
So I'm a little of 2 minds. Number one, I don't love the fact that Nia Jax and Liv Morgan were clearly feuding going into Crown Jewel. They didn't like each other. They're going for that big, comically large Blood Diamond, Blood Money belt. And now they're just they're not cool with each other, but they're just okay with one another. It's just kind of like, all right, I don't like you, but I don't dislike you. So I guess we're just all, we'll be friends by association. Fine. Mm-hmm. It was very tough to talk about this, knowing the spoiler that Rhea Ripley came back a week ago, thanks to X, thanks to the once in future Twitter, due to their AI, where it shows you news that you would want to see. It was like some headline where it was like Rhea Ripley returns on Raw. And I'm like, I watched 2 hours of Monday Night Raw. I sat through all 2 hours last week. At no point did I click on the link, and I was like, damn it, not Dom. It spoiled Raw for me, and it spoiled kind of everything on Raw for me. So I was like, well, this sucks. But Rhea being back with the face mask like she's a referee at a hockey game, fine. The thing that I find kind of odd, that I find somewhat confusing, is the notion that Jade and Bianca have not gotten along with Bailey because of what she did with Damage Control.
Mm-hmm.
They're just kind of cool with Io.
That's a good point. Yes, that is a good point. It's a little hiccup in the storytelling there, I would say. Robert, are you a fan of Mad Men?
Am I a fan of Mad Men?
Yes, on AMC.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Yeah, so I think Nia Jax must have been watching Mad Men because she used a line from Don Draper. I don't think about you at all. So notable there.
Wow. You know what? It's funny because when she said it, the way the line delivered, and I tweeted the joke, I didn't think Mad Men. It felt very Stuart Smalley. I'm good
Mm.
enough. I'm smart enough. Gosh darn it, people like me. But guess what? People don't like Nia Jax. I'm fine with the women's War Games match. I think it's going to be a challenge for the producers to come up with two different matches that feel unique and special and vibrant. Given the competitors, the person who probably has to be the happiest right now is Candice LeRae, the gal that you chose to just forget her existence, simply because they weren't using her on TV. Then they start using her on TV. Then Indy Hartwell gets let go, so she definitely had to be a little concerned. Where am I going to wind up when all is said and done? So happy to see that she's landed in this women's War Games match. This was an eventful pre-taped episode of Raw, most notably with the return of Rhea Ripley and the announcement of a women's War Games match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It adds another element. Good to see Rhea back. I do like the face mask look. It's what we were talking about, and I think it adds a cool kind of element to Rhea Ripley and what the fans like about her too. So we had the LWO intergender tag match. Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega taking on American Alpha. That's Chad Gable. And oh my gosh, why am I forgetting her name right now? Help me out here, Robert.
Ivy Nile.
Ivy Nile. Thank
That's why
you.
I'm here.
Mm-hmm. Fun match. Rey Mysterio looks good. Zelina Vega had a pretty darn good spot there, and just a fun opener match, I thought. And then we got a little heated up after the fact with American Alpha and Chad Gable kind of riling up the Creed brothers and getting them revved up too. So, what do you think of this and the use of American Alpha at this point? Do they need to do a little bit more? Are they kind of set in their ways here? What's going on here?
I don't love beating Gable and Ivy Nile in this instance. I thought, given that it was a 4-on-2, it would have been an opportunity for the Creeds to be able to interfere and double team Rey Mysterio. Essentially, with Gable triple team Rey Mysterio, with Zelina Vega unable to help. I thought that was the path we were going. I don't love beating American Made right now. I think that they are a stable that can absolutely work if they're given the opportunity and a little bit of momentum.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, very competent match. I like the, teasing that they're going to break these guys up, and really it's just, no, we're gonna fire each other up, and iron sharpens iron, and whatever other cliche you want to throw at this, Dom.
Yeah. Everybody looks good in this. I mean, from a visual perspective, it's but you want to see a little bit more what they do with American Alpha and make them seem like a big kind of deal here. So moving on. I don't know if we insert this here because I can't remember, but we had the confrontation between.
See, if you're going to say we don't know where to insert this, where I'm going to wind up going with that. So, but I'm not going to. Is I don't know what your segue is, and I don't want to transition from this into something.
It's not bad. Go ahead.
Segue. No, it's fine. It's fine, Dom.
Okay.
We were ready to go, and then we were unable to do it. And guys, if that's a situation that you're experiencing, have we got a solution for you? I know some of you were asking, does Blue Chew work? Guys, Blue Chew works so you can shoot. If you're asking that question, we want you to know that Blue Chew is putting their money where their mouth is by giving you a month free.
What?
Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in chewable form. They took out the word unique from the copy. I'm keeping it in there because, guys, this is unique. This is one of a kind. This is worth going and checking out. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you are approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door. The best part, it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. It works fast and it hits hard. You may as well call it Braun Breaker because Blue Chew wants all men rock hard. They've told me that's their mission. They will not stop until every man is bricked up like a brick house, till every tent is pitched, till every rod is raised. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our audience. Try Blue Chew free. Just pay $5 at shipping at checkout when you visit BlueChew.com. That's BlueChew.com to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo.
Hey, Robert, Xavier
What?
Woods, he was going a little hard against, oh my God, Alpha Academy.
Good Lord, dude. I love Xavier Woods. We go way, way back. He is not the guy to go to after a Blue Chew ad, given things that have occurred in the past.
Oh my goodness.
Here we are, Dom. Here we are with what you have done. Yeah, look, we're teasing this New Day story. It feels like there is an end game in mind, and I think that's the thing that I'm most excited about, because they wouldn't be doing this and then just vanishes and it evaporates. We're building to the 10-year anniversary of New Day. My God. 10-year anniversary of New Day. And I think what's most important about it is we are going to see a conclusion here. This is building to some sort of crescendo. And guys, I'm kidding. BlueChew.com promo code rumor. Yeah, it was a little tease, but we'll get there. I think what was more interesting was the Gunther Ludwig Kaiser stuff and how that filled up a number of segments.
Yeah. But I was seeing some feedback online regarding Gunther and how they positioned him today, and people put it kind of in question. I didn't necessarily see anything really wrong with how they used him throughout this whole night. He got an excursion with Damian Priest, had a confrontation with Ludwig Kaiser in the same segment. I was kind of okay with this, Robert. I don't know how you felt about it, though.
I thought it stunk. I hated it profusely, and made that readily apparent. So I love the Gunther Ludwig Kaiser interaction. The idea of, you don't speak for me because you are your own man and you speak for yourself and you make your own identity. Love it. All set. I love the idea he looks over and sees Damian Priest, who's signing a bunch of stuff for the merchandise table. Decides to attack him. Great, good, cool, whatever. There was a pipe involved, but he didn't actually use the pipe, and he basically got punched once in the tummy and then was dead, lying there on the floor as if he had been deflated, and just didn't move, didn't fight back, didn't do anything. That was terrible. Did not understand that at all.
I can break down the science of this all, Robert, if you just give me a moment. So Gunther, little questioning himself. He's not showing it. He doesn't want to show it, but he is. Little butterflies in the stomach, a jab to the tummy, right in the solar plexus, as Gorilla Monsoon would say. Might topple the guy over, knock the wind out of you. He's out of it. I'm okay with it. I also think, too, they're trying to protect Damian Priest in the long run of it all, I think, too, by having him get the upper hand on Gunther in these kind of excursions. Probably could have been done a better way, but I was still okay with it.
The way you keep saying excursions is as if we're on a cruise ship.
Did I say, how many times have I said it today? I've said it.
I think 3 times so far. I think there have been 3 excursions on a 3-hour tour. And much like Gilligan's Island, this show has been completely shipwrecked and we are marooned. But I do like that the Braun Breaker Sheamus match is going to solve a very big problem that I think WWE's had of late.
Ooh, explain.
So Braun Breaker is neither face nor heel. He is neither fish nor fowl. It depends on who he is facing. You put him in there with a Sheamus, and he is obviously the heel. You put him in there against the heel, and he's the baby face, but then you got people wondering, wait, when did we turn Braun Breaker? So Ludwig Kaiser, who has an issue with Sheamus, makes sense that he wants to interfere here. Ludwig Kaiser, a guy told you need to make an identity and a name for yourself, would go, hey, I want to be the Intercontinental Champion. Makes sense for him to be involved here. A triple threat where Braun Breaker is working with a babyface and a heel gives them the opportunity, like a choose your own adventure, turn to page 132 and find out if he is a babyface or a heel, or if you're eaten by a tiger. For some reason, a lot of those books ended with you getting eaten by a tiger.
Man, I miss those books. I would read those again right now if they made adult versions.
Let's not kid ourselves. You're just trying to find an excuse to go to a children's library After hanging out in that weird children's dungeon room a couple weeks ago, we're on to you, Dom. We're on to you. We're not going to stand for it. We're going to see Dom in the background of the It prequel.
Oh, my God. Well, hey, I do like what they're doing with Ludwig Kaiser right here. He got some major heat, too. That was some good reaction for him there. So good positioning for him, good positioning for Sheamus and for Braun Breaker. And a great match, too, I thought. Great match.
I want to point out there's a question here from Wrestling Old Head. I have a question for you. Is it suplex or supplay? I watched a Greg Valentine match from '84 and solely kept calling it a supplay. When did it change? It is suplex. He was pronouncing it in the French way where you see EX and pronouncing it as AY or EY. So that is our grammatical lesson for today. Also, what are you doing watching Greg Valentine matches from '84? There's easier ways to fall asleep. Wow. Dom has a podcast with Greg Gagne you can listen to.
Oh, you son of a bee sting. Yes, I do.
I'm kidding. It's a wonderful, it's a charming, amazing show. They talk about vineyards and inns located throughout Europe.
Yes.
It's like Rick Steves, but slightly less exciting.
Ooh, I'm excited. Today at 4 p.m., you can tune in live, by the way, for that too. Four Horsemen Network.
I may tune in live.
Do it.
I may pop in with a cameo.
Yeah, ask a question, Robert, too.
I would love to ask a question to Greg Gagne.
I know. Hey,
yeah. What? Oh, there's still more of Raw. We still have more. There's still more to talk about. Well, not really, but there's slightly more to talk about.
Did you know Braun Breaker once beat Lamar Jackson in a foot race?
Okay, I did. Did you know ESPN's Arda Ocal once beat Mike Tyson in a Mario Kart game?
What? Did you say Mario?
Mario Kart. Mario Kart.
Mario.
Super Mario. What
are you?
What are you doing? You've ground this show to a halt, and guys, if you're looking to grind to a halt,
yeah, baby,
we have. This is a bizarre Tuesday show. I don't know what to tell you. Pre-tape Raw brings out the worst in us, but it did bring out the best in Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. Made for a hell of a main event.
Oh, hey, you just want to skip the War Raiders, Robert?
Yes, I want to skip the War Raiders. You know why? I almost fell asleep during the War Raiders. I love the War Raiders. I love Dom and Carlito. This was clearly a filler match to get to building up Judgment Day. Smart idea. It just went a little long, and it was a long day of lawyering. So I was like, oh man, I need a coffee. So I may have been brewing a coffee at some point during that.
I could go,
but it works. Big fan of Ivar. Eric seems like a nice guy. I'm glad he's back. Love Finn. Love JD. We'll get that match at some point. Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. What's great is this idea that the audience in Grand Rapids, Michigan, had no clue what was going on. See, we, as the viewing audience, as the general public, watched Raw last week, then watched SmackDown where Bronson Reed attacked Roman Reigns, so it makes sense why Bronson Reed is aligned with Solo and crew. The people who attended the double taping last week saw no interactions with Bronson Reed and Solo. There was a backstage thing where Solo tried to recruit Seth, but the second half felt a little accelerated. It's just like, boy, guys, stuff picked up quickly. All of a sudden, new bloodline, old bloodline, everyone's fighting everybody. It's a Pier 6 Donnybrook.
Ooh,
that's right. We're going a little extreme here. But yeah, strong match. I'm glad that I like how the heading of this episode is Bronson beats Seth, like Dewey defeats Truman.
Yeah, that's
a little bit of history here.
Newspaper.
Yes, kids are going. What's a newspaper?
What is that?
Yeah. So obviously Bronson Reed is the fifth man in this War Games match, and the question is, will it be Seth? Of course it'll be Seth, but we still have to pretend. Will it be Seth? Could be Punk. Could be someone suggested I saw John Cena. I don't know. Dre Owens says Bronson is the new Vader. That is entirely inaccurate. That is so insulting and so wrong. Bronson Reed absolutely washes his gear.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Bronson Reed never on Boy Meets World.
It's true. He was never the father of the guy from Mallrats.
Ethan Suplee. Yes, that's why I'm here.
Is that his
That I
actual
can.
name? Is that the actor's
That's the
name?
actor's name is Ethan Suplee. Yes,
Wow, Robert.
dude,
Wow.
do not come at me with Mallrats if you're not prepared.
Holy cats. Man, hey, you just completely no sold Carrying Cross, The Final Testament, and The Wyatt Six as well, Robert. What do you
Yes,
think
so does creative. I think
of
this. Look, this
Wow.
was no. I'm joking. Look, this is a fine sea level story. I enjoyed the Carrying Cross Miz video. It was
Me
goofy.
too.
It felt like something you would have seen like early '90s MTV.
Yeah.
Didn't bother it. Didn't bother me. Um, what was odd was watching the Wyatt Six video, and for a second I thought that was Bray,
He looked like Bray,
and I
didn't
was
he?
like, "Oh man, this is." I hope that WWE is paying for mental health counseling because that's a little tough. Where okay, we're gonna shoot this vignette where you look like your deceased brother.
Man, yeah, he did. He looked a lot like him. Yeah, I
Also,
really like this, Robert. Oh, go ahead.
there's a great question from Alt Jake. Have you seen Ethan now? Yeah, Ethan Suplee, jacked.
Is he really?
Jacked to the gills. He went from not being able to see a sailboat to being able to lift a sailboat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wasn't he also on Parker Lewis Can't Lose?
He was for sure on My Name is Earl.
Yes. I want to say he was on Parker Lewis too.
It's
I love
very possible.
that.
I also love the fact that they made a Ferris Bueller TV show, and
It's
they
true.
which did have Jennifer Aniston on it, which they put directly opposite Parker Lewis Can't Lose. Like that was the original Monday Night Wars right there, guys. It was smart teenage slacker against smart teenage slacker, and there could be only one, and it was Parker Lewis. And most of you have no idea what that show is.
That's because he can't lose, though, Robert. He can't.
You know who can't lose?
Who?
Our Lord and Savior QT Marshall.
That's right. You know what? He's winning right now, big time, I would say. Guys, I don't know. I did not have QT Marshall on the docket until yesterday after the show. Once Scott Chaplin of Working Stiff sent everybody the music video of QT Marshall calling out Big Boom AJ. And Robert, I really like this stuff. This was quality work right here.
I loved every beat of him bringing the doom. He's got a plate of cookies from catering. He's singing. He's rapping. He's dancing a little bit. QT Marshall is a quadruple threat.
Mm-hmm.
He can sing, he can dance, he can act, and that sucker can wrestle. This is the best thing AEW is doing, and it's not even close. It is using a fringe celebrity, which was WWE's bread and butter. You go back to most of those WrestleManias, and they like to say, "Oh, look, we got Liberace and Muhammad Ali." No, you got the "Where's the Beef" lady. They had the Snapple lady at an event once. Like they are very big on. I watched Kevin Federline wrestle. Like they are just whatever D-list star is going to show up. Jonathan Taylor Thomas was a major star at one of those things. We got Nick Turturro. Couldn't even get John Turturro. You got Nick Turturro from NYPD Blue, because if there's anything kids were watching, it was NYPD Blue and the WWF. Like they found that sweet spot of those kids that had like a sign that was like, "I love Diesel and Sipowicz." But the fact that you're leveraging a real quote unquote internet celebrity who I found out lives in Boca Raton. Like this man lives in my neighborhood. Or not my neighborhood. This is my town.
Visit him.
Here. I'm not gonna. No, this is why I have a gate at my community. I don't want to let the riffraff in.
The Rizzler.
Stop with the Rizzler. Jim Ross's obsession with the Rizzler, by the way, is hilarious. You haven't heard of Connie? I'm gonna go meet the Rizzler. Have you heard of this boy? The Rizzler. Want to go to Sizzler and sleep with a waitress. Anyway, and Devin Dowling points out, yes, Pete Rose, because they couldn't get a Hall of Famer. Wow. Pete Rose in WWE, all-timer. QT Marshall understands pro wrestling. He understands what's entertaining. This is not a main event feud. This is not a main event story, except for the fact that the dude, the Costco dude, went on Jimmy Fallon to promote this fight.
Mm-hmm. He did.
This is one of the only things that has gotten mainstream attention for AEW. The mainstream ain't talking about Jay White, Hangman Adam Page. All right, I'm not putting on Entertainment Tonight. I went with the dated reference here, and they're like, coming up, John Tesh is going to talk to Orange Cassidy. But no, this match has a lot of traction. Never mentioned on Dynamite. I think this week is the first time they're going to mention it. But QT Marshall makes this diss video, which should have been on AEW TV. I absolutely loved it. I thought this is great. This is the goofiness of pro wrestling where you need a let me up segment. You want to give me 6 11-star matches in a row? Awesome. Give me this in between, and I will be a happy man. You know what you also need to give me? You need to give me more Dominic D'Angelo, because Dominic D'Angelo produces a number of high-quality podcasts, including Working Stiff, and on the Patreon, the Working Stiff Patreon, and Something to Sports Entertainment with, which should be up right now, Dom.
It is. I put it up. You're good to go.
Weird. By the way, I can't, because this is like, I get like the weird itch in my brain where if I don't comment on something, I just got. Alt Jake points out John Tesh, the composer of Tony Khan's favorite song. One of my favorite songs too. John Tesh wrote the NBA on NBC theme song.
Oh, did he really?
Yes.
Wow.
All-timer. John Tesh, man of many talents.
My goodness, John Tesh.
Man, is he even still? While you're talking, I'm going to look and see if John Tesh is still alive.
Okay, yeah, guys. Today, you can see more of me, like I said earlier, with Straight Talk with the Boss, Magnum TA, Greg Gagne. We're going live 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at fourhorsemannetwork.com, or you can go onetruesporttv.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, spread the word about the networks as we're trying to make it big time. So, but you can interact with Greg and Magnum later today. And, go ahead.
And John Tesh, not only is he still alive, he just posted on his Facebook page 5 minutes ago, which, by the way, has 1.5 million followers.
Wow.
Eating too much sodium? Have a baked potato. Potatoes are a great source of potassium, which can offset the effects of sodium. And if you can consume twice as much potassium as you do sodium each day, you'll cut your risk of dying from heart disease in half. So says the Archives of Internal Medicine. And to that I say, thank you, John Tesh.
Thank you. I want a baked potato now.
This may need to be a daily segment. Checking what John Tesh is posting on Facebook.
Check in with John Tesh. Yes. Hey, you can check in with RVD too. One of a kind with RVD. New episode up. Rob talks about his time in NXT in the Philadelphia at ECW Arena, the 2300 Arena now. But you can tune in, rvdtv.com. Like, subscribe, share that out, and get it wherever you get your damn podcast too. But Robert, wow.
You know what you got to do next time you talk to Miss Rob Van Dam? Yes. I want you to ask him what he thinks of the AJ guy doing the Rob Van Dam. He basically stole the thumb thing when he does his the
boom.
Oh, between that and the Mr. Pay-Per-View thing with Will Ospreay.
Oh my gosh, you're right. All right, I'll have to get Rob's opinion on all that stuff this Thursday probably. Tune in, rvdtv.com.
So I like that Johnny Disco calls it Rumor and Innuendo and Tesh. I think we need a Tesh sesh every day. We'll get it sponsored.
Let's get him on the show.
Dude, you couldn't get Brody King to show up.
Yes.
Let's focus on wrestlers before we go and get a massive A-list star like John Tesh.
Man.
We could probably get Mary Hart.
I think we could get Mary Hart.
And then you can interview Bret Hart and he could talk about how he was a better entertainment correspondent than Mary Hart.
He was.
But we'll be back here tomorrow and every day this entire week for a little Rumor and Innuendo. Next week, Thanksgiving, it's going to be a little wishy-washy. Well, don't do that with the hands. That was weird. But you'll have something to watch here. But you can catch us every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative_ISH account, the SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on ad-free shows, Rumor and Innuendo, and Working Stiff. As there's when you join us live, you can be in the chat with a bunch of people trying to rename our show with Tesh-related puns. But until then, on behalf of the Lisa Gibbons of the wrestling world, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
And hey, Parker Lewis, he can't lose. He won't lose.
Creative control.